Hello, my name is Swan Nguyen.
And I'm Samaria Ingram, and our social issue is on children with disabilities.
Hello, my name is Shamir, and I'm here interviewing Samaria Ingram. May I ask you about your disabilities?
Sure, you may.
What is your kind of disabilities?
My disabilities are learning disabilities and a bit of ADD.
How have you become disabled?
I became disabled through my generations
How long have you been disabled?
since I was a child.
What are the problems you face in your daily life as a disabled person?
Going out into the world, trying to learn as everyone else in school and try to comprehend everything.
What did you do to overcome this hardship?
I work hard, I go home, try to learn as much as everyone else has, and I go for them hands-on activities as well.
Do you have any dreams or hobbies?
My dreams are to be successful in life, to overcome my disabilities, and my hobbies, I really have a passion for drawing, but I really like to go out and do hands-on activities.
Would you like to say a few words to the audience?
Yes. My words to the audience is, for children with disabilities, please keep working hard and never give up. And for everyone else, please support them. They need your hand right now.
Well, thank you for giving us time to have this interview.
Thank you.
My name is Shamira, and I'm here interviewing Mr. Q. How do you feel about teaching students with disabilities?
I like teaching. I love teaching, actually. So whether I'm teaching a student with a disability or a student without a disability, either one, I just love teaching.
Is it harder to teach students with disabilities than any other student?
I would say it's more challenging because sometimes the students aren't able to grasp the information when you first give it to them. So a lot of times you have to go back and reteach. However, a lot of that is the same with general ed classes. So you have to go back and reteach, as well with those particular students. So in my experience, it's been you're going to have certain issues whether you're teaching general ed students or students with a special need.
In what ways do you help them overcome their hardship?
Let me see, coping mechanisms. So we all have something that we can overcome, whether we are labeled with a special need or whether we're labeled just as a gen ed student. So even gen ed students have organization issues, have time management issues. Have problems sometimes gaining an understanding of what the material is talking about. So I don't know if you are aware, but executive function is a biological process that every person has. And so by the time they're 27 years old, executive function is complete with its formation in the brain. However, up to that point, executive function, it affects time management, it affects critical thinking skills, organization, basic understanding of of concepts. That is still developing. And so whether you're a general ed student or a special needs student, you are still developing executive function. And so with this particular population of students, those with special needs, that is more pronounced simply because not only are they developing their executive function, but they're also dealing with maybe a learning disability or behavior that keeps them from being able to understand the material. So pretty much being able to teach coping mechanisms. How do you organize your time? How do you organize your assignments when they're due? What do you block your day out when you go home so that you can get all your assignments in? In addition to if you have attention issues, what do you do so that you can remain focused, so that you can keep in mind the task at hand, so those kind of things, just developing coping skills, explicit instruction, which means hands-on instruction, very deliberate, very intense, and just continuously checking in for understanding.
What are the advice that you would usually give them when they are having a difficult time?
Breathe, slow down, calm down, and just relax a little bit. I feel like, education can be a little stressful for people in general, whether a student has a disability or not. And the same issues that a student with a disability might have are, again, the same issues that a student with a gen ed, in a gen ed setting might have as well. And so whenever students are having any kind of issues, I simply just remind them to slow down and breathe and to think about what they know, and then think about what they need to know and what they need to do to get the information.
Do you think it will be better if children with disabilities have the same class with each other instead of mixing them with any other students?
Well, there's been a couple of studies about that actually. A couple of studies show that when students who have disabilities are put into the same room and do not have any connection with students in a gen ed setting, that does not help them to improve. It doesn't help them to learn in the best way. For that reason, the law is that students cannot be all in a small group setting. They have to be mixing and mingling with their peers as well, because it sparks growth, it sparks interest. I think it's important to mix. I don't think that having students always in their own classroom, I don't think that's always healthy. I don't think it helps students to learn better. And I think that when students are able to be around peers who may not exhibit a disability, they're able to see themselves differently as well. So I think it's really good to have a mix.
As a counselor for children with disabilities, what made you love this job?
Well, I like to talk, and I like people listen to me. So, but in addition to the fact that I just really love giving information and learning and figuring out the best way to reach a student so that they can see maybe what I'm trying to what I'm trying to communicate to them. So it's almost like figuring out how a student learns, figuring out how a student thinks, and then the challenge is how can I tailor what I'm teaching to how they think and how they learn. So I enjoy that challenge. I really do, and I feel like I have a lot to give them as far as knowledge and experience, and just doing better for themselves. So yeah.
Well, thank you for giving us time to have this interview.
You're welcome. Definitely my pleasure.